When a legend gets married, the world watches. We expect privacy, maybe some quiet tradition. But what we got from Venus Williams was something else entirely.
A multi-continental, 5-day festival that didn't just break the rules, it completely rewrote them.
Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we're diving into a stack of articles, interviews, and exclusive details you sent us about the wedding, or should I say, weddings of Venus Williams and Andrea Preti.
That's the mission, to pull out the key insights and understand how they orchestrated this extraordinary union. It was a logistical marvel and, honestly, a total rejection of convention.
Okay, let's just get right into the headline that really sets the stage for everything else. Venus Williams married Andrea Preti not once, but twice in 2025.
Twice, which sounds like, pure celebrity excess at first.
Right.
But it was actually a logistical commitment. It was about bridging two completely different cultures.
So what was the timeline here?
The first ceremony was back on September 18th in Ischia, Italy. And this was a really direct, emotional nod to Preti's Italian roots. Venus apparently called it a dream. It was all about the romance.
So that was the dream wedding. Why the huge 5-day sequel in Florida a few months later?
This is where bureaucracy crashes the party. For Venus to legally marry in Italy as a foreigner, the paperwork can take like 8 months.
8 months, wow.
Yeah, and they just didn't want to wait that long. So they did the symbolic, heartfelt Italian wedding first, and then planned the official, legal, and much, much bigger celebration back in Palm Beach.
That one detail changes everything. It wasn't about having two parties. They were basically forced to stage two separate events to honor both their commitment and the law.
It speaks volumes about their mutual respect. They made sure his Italian heritage was the first symbolic step, and then they came home to her turf for the big public celebration.
And at the center of all this is Andrea Preti. He's 37, a Danish-born Italian actor and producer. The story of how they met is, it's like something out of a movie.
It really is. It was a total chance encounter in 2024 at a Gucci show during Milan Fashion Week.
Okay.
And get this, neither of them was even planning to be there. Venus was in Lake Como and just decided to go last minute. Preti was exhausted from work and almost stayed home.
No way.
Yeah. They met at a VIP after party, and actually Venus's sister, Andrea, was the one who sort of made the first introduction.
Having the sisterhood's approval from minute one, that definitely helps. But this is where the story gets really interesting for me. Preti wasn't just a romantic partner. He became a career catalyst for her.
This is the key detail. Venus confirmed their engagement during a post-match interview in July 2025, and she revealed something huge.
What was it?
That he was the driving force behind her continuing to play tennis.
At this stage in her career, that's incredible. She's been at the top for decades.
Exactly. She said she had reached a point where she'd wanted to coast, just chill. She talked about how incredibly hard it is to maintain that level of competition.
I can't even imagine.
But Preti, and she made a point of saying he had never seen me play before they met. He was the one who motivated her to keep going. He supported the person, not just the famous athlete.
That's the foundation, right?
Yeah.
It's about the human behind the Grand Slams. And that bond is what allows for everything that followed.
Right.
If you're intrigued by the power dynamics behind these celebrity headlines, make sure you're subscribed. Because that brings us to the logistics of the event itself. A 5-day marathon that, honestly, only the Williams family machine can pull off.
Okay, so let's talk about the Palm Beach celebration. A 5-day marathon leading up to the Friday ceremony. It was just a wild sequence of events.
5 days isn't a wedding, it's a festival.
Yeah.
What were the highlights?
It started on Monday with a yacht day. And this wasn't just some casual boat trip. It was a gift from Serena.
Of course it was.
She handled everything. The catering, the arrangements, for about a dozen close family members. They were apparently singing, dancing, and, as the sources put it, gossiping.
A mandated gossip session on a yacht sounds like the perfect start to a Williams wedding. What was next?
On Tuesday, things got more intense. They had a boudoir-themed bridal shower, an Asian fusion dinner, and then, my favorite part, a massive Beyoncé lip-sync battle on the patio.
You have to be kidding me. A Beyoncé battle. I need to know who won. I'm guessing Serena brought her A game?
Oh, absolutely. She was reportedly channeling her own iconic looks, but the real competition was saved for Thursday, which they called Sports Day.
The ultimate theme day for this family.
It was volleyball, dodgeball, pickleball, tennis, even wheelbarrow races. The bowl wasn't really fierce competition, though. It was to make sure Venus and Pretty were always on the same team.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
But this level of coordination, it's insane. This brings us to the ultimate wedding planner, Serena.
She was the engine, she runs venture capital firms, and she brought that same energy here. The family calls her the one who gets things done.
Give me the best example of that VC efficiency being applied to wedding planning.
Okay, so at one point, Venus sends Serena a list of 14 different hairstyle options for the bridal party.
14. That's overwhelming.
For Serena, not a problem. She pulls out her computer, analyzes all the options based on face shapes and dress styles, and within 30 minutes creates a professional PDF file detailing which style would look best on whom.
She didn't just pick a hairstyle. She ran a high-level, data-driven analysis to optimize the glam. That's incredible.
It shows you that at that level, even the most personal moments are subject to intense planning. And that perfectionism continued right up to Friday morning with the super private 6:45 a.m. courthouse ceremony.
6:45 in the morning.
Just so they could have the venue completely to themselves before anyone else arrived.
Wow. Okay, which brings us to the biggest, let's call it a controversy, of the entire week, the dress code. Venus had her entire bridal party wear white.
It's the one rule you're never supposed to break.
Never.
But she did it intentionally. Her mother, Oracene, her sisters, Serena, Andrea, and Ischia, and her niece, Justice, all of them in these stunning white bridal-inspired gowns.
That is such a bold statement. She's essentially sharing the spotlight with the most important women in her life.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of a traditional wedding's focus.
It totally transformed the look. Instead of one bride standing out, it became this cohesive, almost goddess-like collective. And Serena's dress was a showstopper, a white strapless mermaid gown with this flowing cape.
So her dress was definitely giving main character energy, but since Venus sanctioned it, it's not a competition. It becomes a statement about family unity.
And Serena's public reaction really drove that home. She called Venus her sister's keeper, her built-in best friend, my protector, my teacher. It shows a bond that goes way beyond any wedding tradition.
A sisterhood that strong can absolutely wear whatever color they want. All right, we have covered so much, but stay with us. We still need to talk about the global fashion showcase that was Venus's wardrobe and the incredible music choices that bridged two cultures.
Right, so moving into the couture part of this, the fashion was a statement in itself. Venus basically treated the 5 days as her own personal runway.
I read she had over a dozen outfit changes. That's more than a showcase, that's a marathon.
It was a true couture tour. For the very private courthouse ceremony, she wore Morley, New York. But her main gown for the big formal celebration was a Georges Hobeika piece.
What was it like?
Venus described it as ocean and sea inspired. It had all this intricate beading and a sheer flowing skirt. But we also saw her in Natalie and Matal, Veni Infantino, Eve of Milady. The list goes on.
It shows a woman who is so comfortable in her own skin, she's not going to be defined by a single bridal look, but the cultural blending that happened in the ceremony itself, right?
It did. They wrote their own vows and delivered them in both English and Italian, which is such a powerful gesture. But the music, I think, was the most emotional part.
What did Preti choose for his entrance music?
He walked down the aisle to an absolute classic, I'll Be There by the Jackson 5. Just pure American soul.
A perfect choice. What about Venus?
Venus chose an Italian song, Ovunque Sarai, and Preti later explained just how deep that choice was. That specific song was incredibly special to him because it reminded him of his late grandmother.
Oh, wow.
He was reportedly in tears when it started playing. She used her entrance to create this deeply personal, emotional connection to his family and his past.
So you have American soul meeting this intimate Italian tribute, and then they walked out together to Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered. It's the perfect blend of global and personal.
Every single element was chosen with such intention. The vows, the playlist. It was all about creating their own shared history.
But the detail that makes it all so human, the one that gives you the best insight into their actual relationship, happened at the after-party.
This is my favorite moment of the whole story. So after the formal reception, everyone hops on a party bus to head to the after-party. Venus is out until 2 a.m., dancing to Sexy Red and French Montana.
The athlete turned party animal. And what about Preti?
Preti went home early.
He did.
Yep. Venus just casually mentioned that he went to sleep with their dog. And that tiny detail, that healthy boundary, the respect for one partner needing to party and the other needing to rest with the dog, that tells you everything about the balance in their new marriage.
That's the perfect ending. Okay, this deep dive has shown us that this wasn't just a wedding. It was a fusion of careers, of cultures, Palm Beach and Italy, and of two powerful dynasties. And the whole thing was made possible by the Williams sister bond.
And that's the biggest takeaway, I think. It's found in the one rule she shattered. In a world that's so obsessed with tradition, what does it really mean that Venus Williams had her entire family, including her superstar sister, wear white alongside her?
It turns a broken rule into a statement, right? The statement is that the family collective is more important than the singular bride. It redefines the whole event as the Williams family welcoming a new member into their unit, showing the world that their team is bigger and stronger than ever.
Exactly. It's not just a wedding, it's a statement of generational power.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.